Can I make a motion that we have that added?
If,
Just to clear that up completely.
if all board members believe this topic is done, or there's more to discuss. Hearing none, the motion can be entered.
I'd like to make a motion that we have the official measurement from SCDOT noted on the, plot, the map. Survey, thank you. Words are failing me. Alright, to finally put that matter to rest as to where the measurement starts, where the measurement ends. Is there a gap between the right of way and the property line? That's my motion.
Is that how you like it read and seconded, or is it more appropriate to be very specific and ask for the 37.5 foot of right of way be displayed on the survey?
Well, I'd like them to outline the right of way and complete. I don't want them to measure 37.5 feet and then just mark that.
You'd like the entire right of way to,
The entire right of way.
that's exactly what that is. Survey. To depict the entire right of way.
The entire right of way. And if there's any gap between the right of way and the property line.
The motion has been entered is for an official measurement to be placed on the survey to direct the entire, to display the entire right of way, and if there is any gap between the property and the right of way. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is the motion seconded? Motion has been seconded. The board will now move into the discussion of the motion.
I just think that will clear up any ambiguity and gray area that we have, so we get to the decision process.
Very good. Any additional comments from any board member?
I have one additional comment, but not about that. I'd like to add clarification on, is this fence on the side yard or is this fence in the front yard? Because we're reading, from planning that it's in the side yard, but they're saying it's in the, but some are saying it's in the front yard, so we need clarification. And the zoning ordinance, the picture is not clear.
So this sounds like you're forming a second motion.
Second
So
motion, yeah.
let's focus on the first motion. An official measurement on the survey to depict the entire right of way, and if there is any gap between the property and the right of way. Have heard no additional comments in the discussion phase of the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. The motion passes unanimously. And now, Board Member Robinson, if you'd like to enter that second motion, you can do that as well.
Yes, so the question is what is the definition of the sidewalk? Where does it fall? If you look at 69 and 70, then it's only, the picture is not clear, and then also when we got the interpretation, it clearly said, that because the fence is contained within the side yard, it can be higher than 4 feet was the interpretation that we got on September the 26th.
So I think that's where we have to interpret it, because the zoning ordinance does not clarify when those two overlap, when the side yard and the front yard overlap, which one takes precedence, and I think that's what we have to come up with an interpretation with, and then we can make a recommendation to the planning commission, to say, hey, let's clear this.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have to be clear, because in the picture, the side lot line is all the way down the side from the back. I mean, the front is only across the front.
depending, because normally, when you have a house that's sitting, right, normally it says the house is sitting here, right,
Yeah.
this is the
The
house.
public forum is closed, so this is just the board.
But if y'all see what,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's clearly in the book that says the side lot line is all the way down from the back corner to the front corner.
There is.
No, I think the way I would interpret that is the side yard is the shaded area. You see the shading?
But the shade goes, it's also in the, if you look to the left of that, see the picture on page 69, if you look to the left of that, the side yard setback is still in that lighter shade.
There is overlap between the side yard and the front yard and the rear yard. So you will have the corners, basically, of that lot that's shown on page 69. There is overlap between the front yard and the side yard on the two front corners, as well as overlap on the side yard and the rear yard and the two back corners, of that example. So that's where the issue is coming up as far as that you identify.
Yeah, I mean, that's just to me, it's very confusing, it's very hard to, clearly define according to the ordinance.
But there's no indication of any side yard from the front lot line to the 30-foot setback line. So between the front lot line and the 30-foot setback line, that is clearly front yard, no question. Now, the other area where that little side yard, language appears in the sketch is between the front yard setback, which you see the buildable area, and the actual building, which is the house. So there's a question as to whether see, this house is not built right up to the front setback line. It's back further than the front setback line. So there may be some question about the area between the 30-foot front setback and where the actual front porch starts and ends. But from the front lot line to the 30-foot setback line, there is no question but that it is front yard.
Okay.
I would also point you to section 7.2A, and it says the required front, side, and rear yards for individual lots shall be measured inward toward the center of the said lot from all points along the respective front, side, and rear property lines of the lot or road right of way. So that clearly says that the setbacks are measured inward from all property lines, from all directions, which again shows that overlap within those corners.
And in regards to the side yard, fences and walls may extend to the property line. So we're not talking about moving the fence 30 feet into the property
That's right.
towards the house. We're
Absolutely.
talking about just what piece of the fence needs to be reduced to 4 feet to be in line with the ordinance.
Correct.
The plat that you have, though, does not show doesn't show where the house is located in the lot. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
And it doesn't show where the 30 feet from the front lot line ends. Because that line that goes inward toward the middle of the lot, I think is indicating a fence, not a measurement.
as a
There's a
motion.
line with the three circles.
I'm not sure what that is, because the fence doesn't go in, it's just straight across, according to the picture.
What he's saying is when this was made, this isn't made based off of what's there now, it's
Yes.
made based off
Well,
of.
it was supposed to be,
A
because it
team,
was just survey,
and I did ask that,
September fifteenth
It's a
was
team.
done, yeah.
and the answer was a team was out there
Mm-hmm.
doing this.
But it doesn't display the.
No, it doesn't display the bill, it doesn't display the house, or where the, we think that three lines is supposed to indicate maybe where the fence ends, but not sure.
There's the fence continues towards the house.
Actually, even, it says chain link fence, PVC fence, oh, this is what's currently there, gotcha.
But if you look at the plat that was done of the lot, starting at the front lot line, which is on Cherry Lane, 30 feet backward from that front lot line is front yard according to that sketch in 7.2. But it doesn't show on this map exactly where that is.
So
You can take a tape measure from the front lot line.
we made a motion to add the right of way. Would you like to make a motion to consider adding the house and the 30-foot setback measurement on the survey?
I would support that.
Okay.
Because if you look at the picture compared to this, they don't match.
So,
Okay, so
is the board interested in a motion to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Please make a motion.
make a motion, I make a motion. To have the house and the fence, well, especially the fence measure from the setback. Added to the survey.
Motion has been made to add the house and the setback measurement to the survey. Is the motion seconded?
Second.
Is now a discussion of the motion. Any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of adding the house and the setback measurement to the surveys, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. The motion,
I'm sorry. Check that.
you voted twice over there.
I apologize.
That's not allowed. You gotta make a decision.
We just.
So the motion does pass unanimously, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, we are still in the board discussion, so we can consider other items if you like.
Do we want to discuss, maybe coming up with some clarifying, verbiage, so we can avoid this in the future, that we can provide to the zoning, commission?
You're referring to recommending updates to the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
Okay. We can do that. I just wanna focus right now on getting the fence moved,
Yeah.
closed, and then we can consider that as well in this board discussion. Does anyone want to make any other decision on the fence without seeing these updates to the survey, or would you prefer to wait for the survey? Do we need to talk about anything about reducing the height of the fence? Do we need to discuss anything else about the fence?
I don't think we can move any further until we get that information, and we have to define how we look at front versus side. So we discussed that,
Yes.
and how we want to define that, which
Yes.
I've, an approved diagram here that works. So,
Oh, I see it.
yeah.
I have mine.
So front, rear, this is just a basic recreation of what's in there, so it really comes down to where we want, what we want to do with these gray areas, particularly in front of this situation. So how do we want to interpret that?
So is the is the center of the house?
This is the buildable area.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I can tell you, my interpretation is if it's on the side and it goes all the way to the front, it's part of the side. That's my interpretation.
Based on the line you drew to the left, extending to the north. That's the line right there, yeah. That's why you said that was the side, based on that line you did there.
So this is just to outline the gray areas, so
Right.
it's the guidelines or whatever. So that's the front, so street, both sides, I'd say it goes up, it's part of the side. I would consider this being the front. I understand that differs.
But I'm trying to get to the reasoning. Is it?
Oh, lot lines.
Yeah, is it because that's the side lot line? The
Yes,
state is listed as a side lot line?
yes,
Because where's the map?
yeah,
Because it's a side lot line.
because in absence of clarifying guidance, I go with the simplest explanation, the most forward explanation. It's part of the side, therefore it's the side. Now, later on, like I said, after this, we get this resolved, we can always clarify that and say what takes precedence over what. But as of right now, that's Patrick's interpretation.
Is that interpretation in line with how the ordinances are written now? Based on the pictures?
I know it's ambiguous.
Is it, okay?
Because we could say, oh, we think they put the dots on there, we think this gray area is this, but ultimately, there's nothing stating this is what X is.
7.2A identifies the language of how those are measured. The illustration shows something a little bit different. Typically, illustrations are not the law. They are illustrative in nature, and therefore, if there's typically an issue between, or ambiguity between the language and an illustration, the actual language is what supersedes the illustration. So, if you, however you feel, I think you should focus more on the language, and then we can modify this picture or other pictures to be more in line with what the language you want to have, if that makes sense.
And would it be best to work on that before the next meeting, and then everybody come with ideas and suggestions at the next meeting?
For what we interpret to be
Yes.
versus side.
Yes. Or do you want that defined tonight?
Well, if the other board members need time, then I'm okay with that. I'm just giving you what I've interpreted, that's all.
But if you interpret it that way, you don't need the measurements.
Well, that's just my
Well,
interpretation.
If the whole front yard is the side yard, then it doesn't matter where the 30 feet starts and ends. Or where the house is.
I mean, my opinion is, the question is where, to me, I think that it's on the side yard as well, but where should it start? Should it start 30 feet back? I don't think it does. You know, if they come in to, if it's say 15 feet, is that encroaching on the front yard? If it goes past that setback, that goes, if it's closer than that setback of the requirement. So if it, you know, if you put a fence here, that is your side fence. But if you come too close, if you go past that 30 feet from right of way, then you've brought it too close, then you're encroaching on the front yard. Because you can have an acre lot, and you can build your house at the very back of your lot, and still have your setback, and there's no way that you would put, that you would put your fence just around your little tiny backyard. To me, a front fence would be going across the front of your house.
So I think,
So the issue that you're discussing is a fence parallel to Cherry Lane.
Yes.
You've got the street, and then
Yes.
you've got the street, and you've got a fence,
If you look at his drawing,
the survey?
look at his drawing.
Yes,
Across, if you see where he's got the F for front,
yes.
if you put a fence across there, that's a front fence.
so your definition and my definition are aligned, right?
Mhm. But you can't build that fence, that side fence closer than 30 feet from the property line, because that's the setback.
You're talking about if we push too far this way.
Yes.
So the only question, I believe, we're trying to address right now is what is front versus side? The encroachment thing, I think we've already tabled
But
for
to
next time.
me, anything that goes along the side of your property is your side. I mean, to me, that's how I interpret it.
So as the fence is now, you see that as being a side
Mhm, side.
yard
Mhm.
fence.
Mhm,
With the height the way it is,
mhm,
you see that as a side.
mhm.
I'm just
Oh,
asking to
no,
make sure that it's clear.
That's how I see it, it's a side yard fence, and, just is it too close to the property, to the front property line?
I feel like, because of the setback,
Because of the setback, yeah, because the setback is 30 feet, is that right?
that's in addition to the right of way.
Mhm.
So we're not trying to solve this without all the information. I think I can make a motion, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Make a motion that, hey, we will all come back at the next meeting with our individual interpretation of front versus side. And then we'll be able to take a vote on it then. And we'll have all of the information, theoretically, necessary to make all the decisions at once.
Is there anything else that we need to?
Let me get this, I have to say it.
I'm a little worried, sorry.
No.
Jamie needs to know though, when she has to call the surveyor and spend $500 more getting him out there to draw the house and the line that's 30 feet from the property line, because it's gonna cost money to do that project. So is she doing that or not doing that?
Can you give clarification? Is this the fence? Is this indicating the fence, and is that a measurement? I mean, it might already be on there.
I'll send him an email tomorrow and see if he can give me the clarification of what the.
What that perpendicular line
Right.
means.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even use it in my ears on.
And then how far back the house was?
No, just how far back is the fence? Is this the fence, and what's the measurement between the right of way or the property line and the fence? I think we don't have to be property line and fence for setback.
What we asked,
I think we have to be property line.
what we asked for was
Not representative of that, so that's, and they already had it.
an official measurement
That's just
on
a line
the,
drawn.
No, there's actually, put a stake on each side of this fence. And if you
an
can-
official measurement on the survey to depict the entire right of way, and if there is any gap between the property and the right of way.
Yeah.
So that's the PVC privacy fence, and it goes down to that spot. What's that? And then it says here that T is that phone box and the power pole, and then that little line right here, it shows that is 9.4 feet of fence that extends into the right of way. So according to the survey, that was the surveyor. Because he sent that originally without that notation, and I asked him if he could clarify
But
how
then,
far to the right of way.
then DOT on the question is, DOT on the 14th says it was not in the right of way.
Yep.
Yeah, but they were wrong. They didn't measure it.
They can measure it.
Oh, no. They didn't measure it.
The surveyor.
The surveyor went out and found the iron pin that is on the corner of the lot.
Mhm.
And the fence extended 9.4 feet beyond the iron pin. That is a measurement on the ground.
My initial question to DOT was, here is your telephone pole, does that not represent where your right-of-way line is? And they said typically, but it differs from place to place.
And the DOT guy said that he drove by it.
Okay, so now, since we did not wait for the additional motion that was made to be seconded, we've now moved completely away from what was originally decided. It was originally decided that the fence did not extend onto the right of way. To confirm that, we asked for the measurement of this right of way to be depicted on the survey. So all we need to ask is for the 37.5 feet be depicted on the survey?
So you're gonna send it out there, have them work it.
Well, they may not have to go out there. They may already know. See, they didn't put any measurements on these three lines, and that's the problem.
Yeah, without going out there, he could indicate whether that front property line is the edge of the right of way. He can add that to the plat. Probably inexpensively.
Because
Can you tell us what those three lines are?
here's the issue, the fence does go almost to the power pole, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so clarify for me, what I'm asking, Robert Lackey, who's a surveyor, clarification on what those three lines mean, three dots on that line means. And what's the measurement? You wanna know where the 37.5 feet go?
Because it would be 37.5 feet on each side.
Depicted on each side on the survey,
From the center line.
on the center line.
And I think what we're gonna get is that the 30, because based on the dotted line at the top, that's the other 37.5 feet of the right of way, which they look pretty much equal down between the right of way on the south side to the property.
Mhm.
So in that case, the fence does extend to the property line. So looking at that, does the board want to make a ruling on a decision on the fence extending beyond the property line, or does the board wish to wait on the motions that have already been submitted?
I don't think it extends past the property line. I think where the question is does it extend in the.
Yeah, the property line is the property line.
Yeah.
It extends past the property line, whether it's in the right of way or in a no man's land or wherever it is. It does extend past the property line.
I'd like to wait.
You would like to wait, okay, so we'll leave the motions as they stood and the decisions that were made. We're looking for an official measurement on the survey to depict the entire right of way, and if there is any gap between the property and the right of way. With that, we entered another motion and made a decision on adding the house and the setback measurement to the survey. So those will continue. Now, we were entertaining the third motion, and that motion was board members return to our next meeting with interpretations of the front versus the side yard.
Yes.
Is the motion second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded, we'll enter the discussion phase of the motion. Are there any other comments? All those in favor of board members returning to the next meeting with interpretations of the front versus side yard, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, signify by saying nay. The motion passes unanimously. Are there any other additional comments for the board discussion?
I do have a question for Jamie.
Yes.
Was the appellant notified of this meeting?
Yes. The sign was put out by the fence. It was also put on Facebook and our website, and he called me this morning and asked me what time the meeting was, so he is well aware.
The sign's been out for 3 weeks, I think.
When we set another meeting, I think you need to mail him a notice of the meeting to make sure that he is aware of the time and place of the meeting. Because I just noticed that the appellant is not here tonight.
Okay.
Last time either.
He showed up late, he came in late and left early, but he did call me this morning and I did clarify what time it started tonight. But I will definitely mail a note.
You have to take away that you didn't tell me when the meeting was. You have to take that away.
Okay.
I've not heard any additional discussions. We've had the board motions and votes during the board discussions. The stated final decision and the findings of fact have been presented in the review of the motions. You just catch them all?
Got it.
Um, The board would consider a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn has been made. Is the motion seconded? All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, signify by saying nay. The meeting is adjourned. Good job, everybody. You guys have got such great ideas.
Yes.
They're still there on both sides of the fence.
Before that leave, do you want to set
The
potentially
bad
for the next
number 2 car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has